Action. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Authentically You. Before we get started, if you have been tuning in, welcome back. And if it's your first time joining us, welcome in general. We're glad you're here. And if you can, please like and subscribe. It is absolutely free, and it helps us continue to share important stories of real people doing real things in real life, which is real goodness at this point. If you don't know, I am Anna, the Black Pants Girl, because that's what I own. I have a pair of emergency jeans, and literally I wear them never. They're going to go behind glass. Anyway, tonight I'm going to actually introduce you to someone I admire greatly because she is out there doing the work that is advocating for people to take care of their financial lives and health. It is just as important as the health that you walk around in every day, because to be honest, people don't discuss these things at all. They don't want to talk about it. They don't want to deal with it until it comes time for things that fall apart and you realize you didn't plan accordingly. So I'm not only here to talk to her about those things because she is a phenomenal. What is your grandmother title? Because you're not really a
Millie.
You're a Millie. Okay.
Yes, I am a
A
Millie Graham.
Millie. She is a Millie Graham. She has two adorable twin girls, and their names are,
Aya and Alira.
oh my God, so beautiful. And I am going to introduce you and have you connect today with the beautiful DAVETT Jones. Hello,
Wonderful.
my darling.
Hello, my beautiful. Thank you so much. You are so sweet. You are so
Oh,
kind. That's a wonderful introduction, and I'm so grateful to be on your platform today.
well,
You
I
are absolutely
appreciate you.
special to me.
You are special to me too. And I first stumbled upon you because you were literally out there talking about the real deal types of topics. Having been someone who's been interested in everything from how you take care of setting up for your family when it's no longer, you're no longer here. I think that's super important, which is something nobody ever wants to discuss. To really creating, you inspired me because you talk about generational wealth, and I think that is huge and a topic that doesn't get discussed enough, because we all know about the real simple things out there like 401ks and all this other stuff, but there's a ton of different other options which probably are better options for some people. So we're going to delve into a little bit of you today and how you got started and who you are, because I want people to get to know you, because you are the person who drives all of that goodness. So where does the story of you begin? Where are you from originally?
I am from Knoxville, born and raised.
Very
Yes,
nice.
I am an East Knoxville girl,
Good.
and I went to Chilhowee, Spring Hill, and Holston. Those were my primary schools. So I was
Awesome.
able to have a really diverse lifestyle and background,
Yeah.
and I definitely took that into my professional career. I, of course, went off to college at the University of Memphis State at the time. I know I'm telling my
Wow.
age.
Yeah.
And it's okay. It's
No,
okay.
it is.
Um, yeah, because I was in economics class with
Mhm.
Anthony Hardaway.
Oh,
So,
wow.
everybody knows Penny.
Yep.
And in over the years, I was able to study marketing and eventually made my way back to Knoxville. I worked as an account executive for a lot of different firms
Oh,
in
wow.
Memphis, where I stayed there until 99. And when I came back here and had my daughter in 99, I came back as a realtor.
Oh,
And I was very excited about being able to sell houses
yeah.
in the Knoxville area.
Sure.
Well, when I got back here, I found out people had no money.
Yeah.
And it was very challenging to help them to find houses. So my true story is
Mhm.
I was waiting tables at Applebee's as a realtor.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
because you
I could
had
wait
to
tables
flex
in the
it.
day
Mhm.
and make money, and then I could show houses at night.
Yeah.
But what ended up happening is I was waiting tables a particular day, and I always worked the smoking section. Like
Oh,
I have this, I always was just really telling my age because there was still a smoking
yeah,
section there.
right?
Always worked the smoking section. And it was a real busy Saturday.
Yeah,
And people were like, well, we'll sit anywhere. We don't care. It's just get us off the waiting list.
right.
And a young lady, she came and sat in my section. And you know, Applebee's has those little small two-seater tables, the
Yeah,
most uncomfortable ones that you don't want
they
to be at,
they are uncomfortable.
but you can get your food. So
Yes,
she
you
was like, give me that.
can.
And of course, I greeted she and her guests, and went ahead and I just continued to serve all of my tables and my customers, and I had regulars.
Hmm.
So I was doing my thing. And at the end of her meal, she asked me, she said, would you like a job? I said, I have a job. And she said, yes, but instead of you doing this, maybe you can work for me part-time and you can still be a realtor. And I
Oh.
said, well, I definitely love to check on that opportunity.
Hmm.
Went in to meet with her, loved her dog, loved her system that she had set up.
Yeah.
Because I had a marketing background, then I was her seminar coordinator.
Oh, wow.
Seminar
That's awesome.
coordinator. Now, I mean, yeah, this fancy title per se. I was the person who was printing up the invitations,
Hmm.
putting them in the envelopes, stamping them, taking them to the post office. All of those letters that you would get or postcards that says, come to Carrabba's for a free dinner about finding.
Yeah.
That was me. I was that
Nice.
person putting all the junk mail in your box.
Hey, it's a necessary thing.
It was a necessary thing, but it was $8 an hour. So in
Yeah.
2002, I was balling out of control.
Yeah. No, no, for sure. Absolutely.
So after that first workshop, I did that
Hmm.
for a few weeks, just setting up the workshop.
Yeah.
And after the first workshop, I sat in the back of the room. Again, 2002, 18 years ago. We
Hmm.
didn't have these smartphones with all of
Right.
the
Oh,
technology where I could
right.
just, I had to listen. I was trapped in the room, couldn't go anywhere, and I listened. And I heard her say, what if you could take a $50,000 CD that you had at the bank, be able to double it at your debt, triple it for long-term care, be able to have it grow in the stock market and never lose money again, never have to pay taxes on this money again, and also be able to ensure that your family is going to have a place to go to for money for opportunities and emergencies. Would this be of interest to you? Every hand in the room went up,
Hmm.
including mine, and I didn't have $50,000 in a CD.
Right, right.
The next day, I went back to the office and I said, I don't know what that was you were talking about, but I want this.
Yeah.
I have to have this in my life. And that was my pivotal moment where it literally changed for me. It was like, clearly, I don't know what I don't know about money. I didn't
Right.
know that there was something better than a CD. I didn't know that you could double this $50,000 and triple this $50,000
Hmm.
and get a whole lot more benefit out of it.
Yeah.
She changed my life. After that, I retired my real estate license and I was gung ho about financial planning. And again, that was July of 2002. I've been on the hook
Wow.
ever since.
Yes. I mean, and you honestly, you just hit the nail right on the head. It's a lot about what we don't know. And
Hmm.
like you said, that was your aha moment. Something clicked on in you and said, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, what is this and how do I find out more about it?" Um, and you didn't do what most people do when we talk about this stuff, which is they get panicked. They think, I don't have $50,000 in a CD, so I don't even have the conversation.
Right.
That's not what it's about. It's about getting started on a journey to get you where you are at a place where you are preparing for your family, your life, and everything else. And, it,
Absolutely.
you know, and I'm sure you did the same thing. You gradually started getting your assets in order, I guess, at that point.
And most certainly.
Yeah.
And upon having the conversation, even though it was marketed and it was promoted at a $50,000 amount, that
Hmm.
didn't mean that that was the minimum.
Right.
So what we
Right.
ended up doing was I had started at $50 a month
Yeah.
and was able to start getting that same investment and putting that in place. And it became my first investment. It's my favorite investment.
Yeah.
And I have absolutely been honored to share this tool with so many people and watch them use it over their lifespans and to
Hmm.
be able to do different things, pay for college education, pay for cars,
Hmm.
doing just different things, starting businesses, being able to show them how they could start with a little and
Yeah.
grow it into what their dreams and their goals were. That is, making money is great, but having an impact on people's lives, that was what I really wanted to be able to do. So
Yeah.
I was very grateful. I'm so grateful that the Lord seemed fit to put me in a place to recognize that
Mm-hmm.
this was the calling that He had for me. And it
Yeah.
was funny because when we talk about stepping into your greatness and
Yeah.
recognizing your calling,
Mm-hmm.
honey, I postponed my first job interview.
Did you really?
Yes.
Wow.
Now, how many people do you know that actually postpone the job interview and they reschedule it and still get the job?
That's a great question, actually. That's very, very real. But it also tells that it was meant for you. Like, there I have a strong belief in when you are not doing or when you are doing something that God does not want you to be doing, He's going to keep showing up and tapping you on the shoulder and say, hey, this is not really the path I want for you. I'd like you to consider this. And there are those of us, myself included, who are extremely stubborn and don't hear that message probably the first two or three times until he doubles down on it and makes it so I'll never do whatever I'm not supposed to do again. And I'm like, all right, I get it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Those signs, those wonders, all that. And that's part of maturity and
Yeah.
growth and age, recognizing that I'm going to keep taking this test over and over again until I pass it. So how about I just try and do it differently? What's
Yeah.
that Einstein said? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different
Different
result.
results. Yeah.
So with that being the case, it
Mm-hmm.
was time for me to look for a
Yeah.
new opportunity.
Yeah.
And it was something that was really, it was a passion for me.
Yeah.
I was really interested in money.
Yeah.
That's why I wanted to sell houses because everybody wants the
Absolutely.
big commission. But
Yeah.
I was also interested in knowing what to do with that money after
Mhm.
you made it.
Right.
And that's a conversation that a lot of people don't have. Like you said, well,
Yeah.
they know they have to have a 401k, but they don't know all the, unfortunately, most people don't know the rules behind our 401k. They
Right.
don't know the rules behind their investments and things that they put their money towards.
They don't.
So it really created a space
Mm-hmm.
for me to learn this information and bring it back to people who are in the same situation as I was. I mean, I was a single mother with two kids working at Applebee's as
Yep.
a realtor.
Yep.
You know, that wasn't the most lucrative and optimal situation.
But like you said, financial planning is for everyone, for
Everybody.
every person. It doesn't matter where you are in your journey. Just get something started for yourself because at the end of the day, that's going to be there for you when the going gets rough. And
Exactly.
and after this and this year I think has, if it hasn't illuminated a lot for a lot of people, having been through everything we've been through so far, um, I don't know what else could light a fire under people. So hopefully your calendar is booking up, and I'm going to always promote what you do because I think you're awesome.
Thank you. I
Well,
appreciate you. I do. I do.
absolutely.
It has been a blessing of a year. It
Yeah.
absolutely has.
Yeah.
And there are so many people that I value being able to serve. I
Yeah.
know when you and I really first connected, I
Hmm.
really was I was so excited about the opportunity to be
Yeah.
able to take care of
Hmm.
you, not because of a pandemic or anything else, but being
Right.
able to take care of you.
Yep.
And I know that there were other people who were just going to push you under the rug, or
Yeah.
they didn't. And that kind of is one of those things that maybe it's because I have a bit of a I'm small, maybe it's because I'm black, but it's always been the fact of people treating you like you're inferior and not allowing you to
Mm,
have the things that everyone else has.
sure.
That was a problem for me. So that underdog mentality came out and said, no, I'm going to do what I need to do. We're going to get this
Hmm.
done. We're going to fight. We're going to tooth and nail to get what we need taken care of for the people who absolutely need it because they need it the most.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I find you have such a servant's heart when it comes to how you approach people in their financial planning, that when, when you think about the scariness for people who've never done it before. I want to encourage people to go to someone like you who has that openness. And I'm sorry, I love a good underdog mentality thing. I think the underdogs are where it's at, because they're always the one who come up and surprise you. And those are the ones who end up being the people that you should have taken notice of a long time ago, to be honest. So
Absolutely.
that's
Absolutely.
reality. Well, you sort of talked about your aha moment and your journey. If you were going to tell somebody, like in an elevator speech kind of thing, what it is you actually do on a regular daily basis, how would you explain that to people?
I help people legally stockpile money and wealth from the government to ensure that you have it for your lifetime and the lifetime of your children.
I love that. You definitely have a quick elevator speech. I like that. You were ready. She was like, "Let me do this. I am on it." But absolutely. And your business is called
Life Vision Solutions.
Life Vision Solutions. And you keep talking about a vision vault. Um,
Exactly.
and
Exactly.
that is, I think, what I want people to get in touch with you about, amongst other things. There's a ton of different ways to look at this. But when you think about um, your chosen path that you're walking, um, has it always been easy now that you're doing what you've done for 18 years? Or has it been kind of a journey for you of learning how to appeal to people in the sense of, you know, I know I'm gonna, and I love how you do what you do sometimes, because sometimes you get like I do, where I'm like, I keep telling you try to do this, and you don't listen, and I want you to listen, and I'm going to keep saying it, and if I have to be the one who he keeps saying it, I'm going to be that girl, because you want people to hear exactly what you're trying to say, because it's for their good. It's for good. It's not for, you're not out there trying to sell something. You're not there trying to do, like, you're trying to give people stability. So has those 18 years been easy?
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
And it's easy because I can look back on it now,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But throughout the path, there were challenges. There were
Mhm.
things that I had to go through.
Yeah.
But they made me better, they made me stronger. And
Mhm.
this is the easy part of it. Once I relaxed and I eased into, let this happen. This is
Yeah.
what's supposed to happen. This is a part of the process. This is what you need to do to go to the next level. Now, the one thing that does make it really easy for me is I
Mhm.
adopted the mentality a long time ago. And maybe even when I was a teenager, that
Mhm.
the only thing that was constant was change. So
Yeah.
that has always been a mantra for me.
Yeah.
So as things were changing, then I could always go back to that and say, the only thing constant is change. No problem. Just
Right.
understand what it means to move forward and not
Mhm.
so much relegate or dwell on what the past was.
Right.
Look at what the future opportunities are. So that has made it a lot easier for me. And I
Yeah.
hope, and it's not that I had a charmed life. I did have a great life. I mean,
Mhm.
I've had ups and downs. Like I said, I was a single mother, but
Yeah.
that doesn't mean that I didn't have a great relationship with their father. I
Sure.
just was a single mother. So those were decisions that I made
Mhm.
to be a single parent.
Mhm.
That's where I had to accept what was going on in my life
Right.
and then move forward in the energy of creation, renewal,
Mhm.
and being able to see what the next steps were.
Mhm.
Were there days that I wanted to quit? Yes, but
Of
I did.
course.
Were there days that I lost valuable assets and lost money and time?
Mhm.
Yes,
Mhm.
but everybody does. You've
Right.
seen the memes where it says, life is hard, work is hard, being an entrepreneur is hard, choose your heart. I chose my heart.
Yeah.
And once you go back to those things, and those memes are not just for a quick little soundbite, once you really do kind of internalize that and say, no, I don't want to work for somebody else.
Right.
I don't want to punch a clock.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to get out of bed and be somewhere at 8:30 in the morning.
Right.
This is the hard that I have to go through. That means I wake up at 3 in the morning
Mhm.
out of the blue And I may create a whole bunch of marketing material and schedule them and put them on my post and have
Mm-hmm.
things that's going out throughout the course of the day. I
Yeah.
may be up studying at all crazy hours of the day and night
Yeah.
because I'm in a kind of in a bubble by myself. There's
Right.
not I don't have other like a
You don't have
Edward
the
Jones or a Charles
distractions.
Schwab.
Yeah.
Well, no.
Oh.
If you work for Charles Schwab,
Mm-hmm.
then you got 19 other brokers up and down the hallway sharing information and tools. Well, I don't have that. So
Yeah.
I was kind of in a bit of a cocoon by myself and had to be able to say, where do I go to get that information? Who
Mm-hmm.
do I study? Which coaches do I follow? How can I determine, am I going to use $100 on get my nails done, or am I going to use $100 to go to a coaching program?
Right.
Those are the things that, they're not hard decisions to make,
I get you.
especially because I was following my vision. And
Right.
that's why my business is called Life Vision Solution. I want us to get into the mind frame of following your vision. The
Right.
money that we put aside is for your vision. So
Right.
you can have and do the things that you want to do. It's
Yeah.
not, I don't want you to save and invest for my vision. I I
Right.
make a nice commission, but I promise you, all the money you get back is going to be triple and double what I get paid.
Yeah.
So that recognizing what is your goal, what is your
Mm-hmm.
vision, what are the things that you want to do in your life? How can we put money and our assets and our resource and our energy towards the things that's so much more important to us? That makes life a lot easier.
No, you're right. Absolutely. And I think uh, it's so funny. I guess the one thing I would ask you to clarify for people, including myself, is while it would have been nice to start when I was 18, it is never too late to start.
Absolutely.
Okay.
No,
Because I
that's
think all of us get so worried after we reach a certain age that we're like, oh my gosh, now you get to realize all the things that you have probably should have started earlier that you didn't. And now you're like, oh no, what have I done? Um, that's not, don't think that way. Don't think that there's a magical number that you have to be to start all this journey. You can start at any time.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if you're familiar. When I first started in 2015 with my own practice, I went viral.
Oh,
And
ooh,
yeah, and that was because I had a meme that I put up of my 16-year-old daughter.
yeah.
And it says, starts a Roth IRA at 16 years old, has a down payment on her house at 21. Well, everybody all over the country just went out of the woodworks. It was like, oh my God, I didn't know you could do that. Where do I go to set one up? Can you help me? And various things of that nature. She was 16 years old. She was working at Kroger's. She was
Yeah.
pushing buggies. She came to me and she asked me, because she set up a Roth IRA.
Yeah.
It wasn't that I was forcing her to do it. I did force my oldest daughter to do it
Yeah.
at 19. But my youngest daughter, she came to me voluntarily because we were having these conversations in the
Mm-hmm.
household and she knew what I did. And, it just became, I teach my kids how to invest, like I teach them how to wash dishes, like I teach
Yeah.
them how to make their beds, any other
Right.
thing.
Yeah.
So I want us to really start encouraging and having those conversations with our children when they're younger. So it will become first nature to them, not
Right.
second nature. Because what's first nature to a lot of people right now is paying bills.
Yep.
The only time kids hear us talk about money is when we're complaining about it. It should be the opposite way.
You're
We should
right.
start talking to them about, oh, I got an 8% rate of return on this investment, or oh, I made a dividend off of this stock, or oh, I'm going to pull cash value out of my vision vault. Being able to have those conversations will be a mind shift. So
Mm-hmm.
kids can really start embracing it at a younger age and it won't feel like such a challenge. Now,
Yeah.
for the people who do start at 18, kudos. That is
Right.
phenomenal. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm glad that somebody kind of put that into you and gave you the right guidance. But even still, I've, I've used to do it in a presentation that says if you took $3,000 a year, what most people get
Mm-hmm.
in a, what do you call it? Income tax refund, like
Right.
people like kids, you get
Yeah.
$3,000 a year, and you were put that into a Roth IRA, then about age 65, that you would have like $680,000.
Oh my gosh.
That's great. That's a huge number.
Yeah.
But what if you are 40 years old and you take that same $3,000 and you put it into a Roth IRA? Well, you'll have about $120,000.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is the thing. If you ain't got $120,000 and you want $120,000, start now.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with starting it. It's going to amass and grow to that
Mm-hmm.
dollar amount over time.
Yeah.
So start, be a part of the action, enjoy it. And I really try to go back and tell people, pay yourself first, pay yourself often, pay yourself well. Every week, just about, I go on Thursdays and Fridays. I tell people, pay yourself today, pay yourself
Mm-hmm.
first. Don't go with the same money you was gonna spend eating out. Go ahead and put it into a savings and investment account.
Yep.
You ain't gonna do nothing but eat the money away. You ain't gonna do nothing but go and blow it on a car wash or nails or stuff like that. So
Mm-hmm.
trying to encourage people to just start making small micro investments over time,
Mm-hmm.
it works. And
Yeah.
we know it works. We absolutely, every single body knows it works. The one way that they know, their 401ks, they take that money out of their paycheck before you get it.
Yep.
So technically, your paycheck should be 3 to 6% more that would give you extra money to spend. But no, you
Right.
find a way to make it happen after they take that money out for your 401k.
That's right.
So the reality, and even when they take it out of your paycheck, that 3 to 6% is what going to be $20, $60.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like you're putting $10 or $1,000 into the
No,
investment on day
it's,
one. It's
yep.
those small micro investments over time that grow and turn into a mass bucket of wealth.
Yeah,
The principle is sound.
it
It's
is.
just wrapping our minds around the same way that our employer does it for us, we can do it for ourselves.
And that's the important part. I don't think people like realize that you could like you can do all of these things for yourself. And meeting with someone like you would be an absolute joy for anybody who has thought about it but doesn't know how to get started on it. And I want to encourage people to definitely have these meetings and appointments, because if you can get started younger, by far, like you said, you're going to have so much more amassed at the time that you're ready to retire. But that shouldn't stop a 40-year-old or 50-year-old from saying, okay, look, I am behind the 8 ball on this, but I need to get started. You're going to end up with more than you would have if you would have just put it in a mattress or put it in a savings account or put it somewhere. And you have to think of those things. And I actually go to you for, it's funny, I go to you for, how do I put this? When I see something and it sounds too good to be true, I reached out to you at one point and I said, tell me about this. What do you feel about this? And you gave me the straight facts. And I was like, okay, good. I know not to bark up that tree because that's not for me, because I don't want to take those kind of risks. You know what I mean? So, and I think it's nice to have somebody like that that you can actually bounce ideas off of, because so many of us make mistakes where my thing is, if it sounds too good to be true and it doesn't involve a little bit of effort on your part or a little bit of elbow grease and work, it probably is too good to be true. Now, I'm not saying that you putting in what you should to pay yourself first and then eventually you get that reward at the end or along the journey isn't, that's putting in the work
It
because you're
is.
paying yourself first.
Mhm.
I'm talking about things where we all get all these things we are bombarded on a daily basis with. If you do this, you will make this much money this quickly and blah blah. And it's like, it sounds so great, but I feel like anybody, there are a lot of people who sing, but there are only a certain amount of people who make it to a level where everybody knows them and they're touring and making buku bucks off of touring and all, you know what I mean? Like, so unfortunately, it's not, it's only for a certain amount of people to get to a certain level. But this is stuff that everyone can attain. You know what I mean? Everyone can attain this if they put the work in. Um,
Absolutely.
and I'm
Absolutely.
not saying if you don't have a dream, if you want to be a singer, don't not go out there and do it. What I'm saying is put the work in, and it's a lot of work to be where you want to be.
It is. And that's with everything. You think about our professional athletes, the basketball
Yep.
players. Those were the oddball kids that were on the basketball court shooting and putting up and up at 6 o'clock in the morning, and they were
Yep.
practicing and putting in the work. In the metaphysical world, we call that making the demonstration.
Yeah.
So being able to make that demonstration consistently over time,
Hmm.
being focused, being determined, and knowing what your vision is and
Yeah.
working towards that It all pays off. So it pays off if you're a singer, even for people who are, is a good friend of mine. He is a internet celebrity.
Oh, wow.
And mind you, he became popular probably in the last 4 or 5 years, where
Mm-hmm.
he was, I don't want to say a household name, but
Right.
he's very popular.
Yeah.
But what they don't understand is that he was in his basement doing YouTube videos 10, almost 12 years ago, when nobody knew his name.
Yeah.
So there was a demonstration that he was taking and being consistent, being focused and studying his craft and learning the new technology, and,
Mm-hmm.
keeping up with all of the changes that happens over a period of time. And then you receive the results.
Yeah.
It's no different in investing. You
Yeah.
literally take time and take money and put it in, and you make a demonstration, you go in, you meet with your advisors, you rebalance your accounts, you be able
Mm-hmm.
to, even at your job with your 401k, they have a meeting every year where they tell you to go in there and meet with the people,
But
whether you
you
choose
don't
to
do
or
it.
not.
Right.
Exactly. But
Yeah.
the process is still there that gives you a window to say, well, hey, mm, you know, I got married, or I got a raise, or I
Mm-hmm.
had a child, and all of those different things you're supposed to tell your financial advisor about, so they can make allocation changes to your portfolio as needed, so you can make sure that you're on the right financial path.
Right.
That's why it's important to have the annual reviews. That's why it's important to have someone. There are so many tools out here, DIY, where you can go to websites and set up accounts, which I don't have a problem with. If you're not talking to someone about your unique
Right.
situation, if you're not talking about your tax situation, you're not talking about your financial, half of the people that have, I'll pick on them because people don't like them, but half the people that have Robinhood accounts don't have no beneficiary set up.
Oh,
So
wow.
what happens to the ones who passed away with COVID last week? They
Yeah.
just took their $1,200 stimulus money and stuck it into a Robinhood account, but didn't set up a beneficiary, and their family don't know.
Oh, wow.
Those are the conversations. That's like, you don't pay me for, people pay me to set up certain accounts, but a
Yeah.
lot of times you're not paying a financial advisor for the accounts. You're paying us for our advice, our wisdom, our guidance, to be able to help you and give you some ideas and
Oh,
influence
absolutely.
specifically based on your situation.
Right. And all those cookie cutter things where you might sign up for something where there's not that personalized conversation or talk or touch or anything, where you're kind of in a just a big bucket of people who aren't going to look like you, who may have different means than you do, and no one is tailoring this to your life and making this functional and giving it a pulse, because at the end of the
Exactly.
day it's a living breathing entity. It really is. And it's funny that you brought up the NBA, because I often thought about all of these young men who, because I'm from up in Pennsylvania, so I remember when it's funny, I remember when Kobe got picked out of high school, and I remember Allen Iverson also chose the same path. And my fear for them was these, especially Allen, because he was coming out of a rough situation, and they get all of this wealth, they get these great contracts, and they get all of this money, and if no one has literally said, okay, you're coming from a place where you didn't have a lot, and now all of a sudden you've got more than you can deal with, are you, and I've seen so many times our athletes blow their entire fortunes because no one had these conversations with them. No one said, okay, this isn't going to be the same way forever. You're gonna, you have a couple of, you have a you have a set amount of years that you are going to be the star athlete and making this kind of money, and then after that, what's next? And if you're not taking care of that, and that's the thing that scares me the most for the people coming out of high school. Not to say that the people coming out of college don't have that same fear factor for me, but I always worry, it's like you go from maybe in a situation where you didn't have a lot to having a ton, and you want all of the markers that make you look like you got something, which is great, and I don't begrudge anyone the nice car, the nice house, the all the other stuff. But at the end of the day, when your career as an NBA player or a NFL player or an NHL player is over, do you have are you going to be okay? Are you going to be okay?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. And let me translate that back to English
Mhm.
because, everybody ain't an NBA star. So
Yeah.
think about when
Mhm.
our parents, people who are 60 and 70 years old,
Yeah.
and they retired and they walked off the job and they had 200, a half a million dollars in a retirement account, more money they'd ever seen in their lives.
Yep.
And they all spent it,
Yeah.
went broke, working at Walmart with little blue vest on, living just off of Social Security.
Yeah.
That's where even understanding
Mhm.
people who have worked and made money and amassed this wealth over a period of time, having an advisor to help you say, these are the right investments to be in. This
Mhm.
is how you should spend this money. We should maybe put some handcuffs on you so you don't spend way too much,
Right.
because most of them were used to getting a paycheck every week, every 2 weeks.
Sure.
So then when they got to the point where they weren't getting a paycheck every week and they had this big chunk of money, well, they just went to it like their bank account and they just kept going. Nobody told them that a retirement account was only supposed to have a 4% withdrawal.
Yeah.
So they paid the house off.
Oh
Nobody
yeah.
told them that they were going to have all of these taxes that would come due because they took 100,000 out of 401k and paid the house off because they didn't realize that they were going to owe 30% taxes on that money to pay the house off.
Right.
Then they didn't also realize behind that house was an income tax deduction for them.
It was. Yep. That's
So
true.
now they
Oh,
don't get
that's
that
true.
deduction anymore, and they still are getting a 401k, or they have a Social Security that they got to pay 50 to 80% in taxes on
Yeah.
because no, they did not have those advisors.
Yeah.
So the same thing is true with the NFL or the professional athletes
Mhm.
as it is with regular people. How many people that won the
Yeah.
lottery and went broke?
Unfortunately, I mean, that's one of those stories that you hear about all the time where people win the lottery and that is gone in a heartbeat. Like it's almost, and part of it for me is like, because you know how we all sit there and go, oh, if I won the lottery, I'd be set for life. And it sounds good, but what is the reality behind it? You know what I mean? And I think it's good for people to really understand that, because I don't know.
Yeah,
There's a dark side to the instant everything at this point. And if you're not planning ahead, you are going to fall into that. And that's just not where you want to be at all.
absolutely. And that's
Yeah.
where, I mean, you think about it. Most people don't do their own dental work. Most people
Right.
don't do their own surgeries. Most people
I
don't do
hope.
their own work on their car. Exactly,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
They don't do. So just like that, we're professionals that'll help you, guide you. Yes, there are certain things that you can do on your own, but
Mhm.
when it comes down to it, you need these professionals. You need attorneys. You need financial advisors and professionals. You need to have CPAs. You need to have someone, because as your situation changes,
Yeah.
you need to at least have a conversation to
Mhm.
find out if there's anything that you need to know. And if it's anything that you can't handle on your own,
Right.
then that's where the professionals can literally step in and take that burden away from you. The
Mhm.
one thing that we have gotten so used to is being so self-sufficient. I can identify with that. I'm a single mother. I'm a strong Black woman. I hate that. We became so independent and self-sufficient that when you got to a place where someone was really trying to tap you on your shoulder and go, hey, can I show you how to do this better? Well, I've been doing it my way, this way
Right.
for so long. And you're right, you have. But can I show you how you can kind of unburden yourself a little bit and
Right.
just make this a little bit easier for you?
Yeah.
So I would love for people to be more receptive to that conversation. Now, I know that this is a male dominated industry. I know that sometimes, people can be real highfalutin based on the fact that, well, I only work with clients. When I started, you had to have $250,000 to have a conversation
Wow.
with the firm that I was originally started with. No, two.
Yeah.
So, yeah, excuse me, it was 100,000 to have a conversation in '02. It was 250 when I left in 2015.
Wow.
So, you didn't, and that was not your house.
Right.
That was what you needed to have in the bank. That's why all those
Right.
$50,000 people who were in the room was like, well, yeah, we got 50,000 in a CD.
Right.
When you deal with people in that respect, they don't know how to handle
Mhm.
people who don't make as much money. So
Sure.
it does become really challenging when you're looking for somebody, and most of the people may have a higher um, assets under management, or they required to have a minimum to work with, and
Yeah.
that's turned people away. But I only want to say, going forward, there are a lot of professionals out here in this industry. I know them. Do not be discouraged.
Mhm.
You can reach out to me. I'm licensed in 20 different states,
Oh,
but
that's
also if I'm not licensed in your state, then I will definitely send you. I can find somebody in South Dakota for you. I'm
mhm.
in North Dakota. I ain't in South Dakota, but but
Understood.
right. But because there is this interconnected network of financial professionals, I spent
Mhm.
6 hours on Zooms and videos yesterday gathering that information, going through
Yeah.
courses, but also connecting with other professionals
Yeah.
who have the same heart as I do. And yeah, we may be one in every small city across the state, but promise you, there is one of us, and we will definitely do our absolute best to serve you guys. It's really about making an impact. We want to see the financial change in this. That's one of the things that's so important with financial advisors and professionals.
Mhm.
We want to see people do better with their money.
I
That is our ultimate
yeah.
goal.
Yeah.
We want to see people do better with your, you cannot say that about the people at your car dealership. You can't even say that about your mortgage lender. You can't say that about the people at your grocery store.
Right.
We literally want people. We sell money.
Yeah.
We sell money, and we want people to be better with managing that money
Mhm.
and receiving that money, so we can be in a much better financial situation going forward.
Amen. I think that that's exactly what this world needs at this point. Now, is there something that you can think of in your, and it can be professional or personal life, that you have accomplished up to now, or it can be something that's a work in progress, that when you sit back at the end of the day, you go, that feels really good. I've done something here.
Ooh. So you're my flirt group, right?
Yes.
Okay. Um, so you know that I have my journal. I have
Mm-hmm.
my journal of my goals list.
Mm-hmm.
And I was challenged in 2018 to write a list of 100 goals that I want to accomplish.
Yep.
And of those, I just started. I only got 75 the first time. And of those, I probably knocked out 50.
Wow.
So when I mean to say this life vision thing is so important, but the one thing that is my proudest moment, it goes back to the day that my daughter came to me and she asked for a Roth IRA.
I'm sure. That
And
was huge. Like she came to you and said, "Okay,
yeah,
I'm ready." Yeah.
yeah, I put that in my book. That was the
Mhm.
not the day that my kids were born, my grandkids. No, when she came to me and she said, "I see you. I value what you do. I understand the difference in what you're trying to say," and it impacted a 16-year-old
Yeah.
the same way that I'm impacting 40 and 50-year-olds every
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
That was the proudest day of my life. So that's how the pictures end up getting taken, because I was just having a proud, geeked out mama moment.
Yeah.
And it went from there. But there's so many other things that I'm proud of. I mean, I'm
Sure.
super proud of starting my business. I love to tell people I've been retired for 5 years. I'm
Nice.
45 and I've been retired for 5 years.
Yeah.
So that's absolutely awesome. I Right now I may be the largest Black-owned independent financial planning firm in Knoxville.
Awesome.
So I'm super excited about that. I've got my
Yeah.
agents
As
who
you
are
should
working. I
be.
just got a message when we came on a minute ago and saying that myself and two of my other agents were considered unique writers, and we have weekly calls and they were announced on the weekly call.
Oh
And
wow.
that was really phenomenal,
Yeah.
um, because they are fairly new agents. So
Wow.
I have so many things to be proud of: buying houses, buying cars, my children getting married, having kids. I am so grateful and thankful, and I stay in on a space of gratitude all the time,
Mhm.
where I just bust out, thank you, God, just thank you, Lord, thank you. So good to me. My hands itch. I just
Oh, I hear it. And it's funny. I enjoy following you because you can see the enjoyment of your life come through on your posts and everything that you do. It's not something that it is, I think, natural for you to really appreciate where you've come from and what you have now and all of that. I just feel that. Like you can't, all you got to do is tune in and see this, and you will know that this woman has an abundant appreciation for her world as she has created it. And that is what I'm about for sure. If you could go back in time and tell yourself as the growing up girl one word of advice, or not one word of advice, but a bit of advice, what would you tell yourself if you had the opportunity when you were growing up? Because sometimes some of us need to hear this even now, and that's why I asked the question. So what would you tell yourself?
Pay attention.
Mm.
Pay attention. Because, like I said, I didn't have a bad life.
Mm-hmm.
I actually probably grew up around millionaires all my life.
Mm-hmm.
But if I had paid closer attention
Right.
and been learning the clues and learning the language and creating the networks even earlier in my life,
Mm-hmm.
then I could have been a lot more focused and been much more determined. They were around me, and
Right.
I heard them, and I seen them, and I could get it. They were part of my mental Rolodex, so it came back. But if I could have just paid a little closer attention
Mm-hmm.
and learned and really followed into some great footsteps. I mean to tell you, I probably in my 45 years, I probably were around millionaires on a daily basis for 30 years of my life.
Wow.
And I mean, of course, I worked under one for 12 and a half years.
Right.
And then in my personal life, just growing up with friends of my grandparents and in the neighborhood that I was in, you
Mm-hmm.
know, you always think, oh, well, I live in this neighborhood, but you had exposure
Yeah.
to different things. So yeah, I would just tell myself, pay a little more attention.
Yeah.
Just absorb, take in the information, because the things that I know now, if I had have known then, and if I had have been able to enact them, like what's that hot tub time machine where you go
Yeah.
back in time and then he buys the Apple stock,
Yep.
pay attention.
Absolutely. Well, my dear, I always end my interviews with 10 quickfire questions. And they
Mm-hmm.
were originally from the French series Bouillon de Culture by Bernard Pivot, but they became famous from James Lipton in his Inside the Actor Studio. So I want you to just completely, how do I put this? Free associate on this, and whatever first comes to mind, you go with it, okay?
You got it.
What is your favorite word?
Money.
That's a good word. What is your least favorite word?
Growth.
Mm-hmm. What turns you on creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
Love. Love.
Yeah, love's good. What turns you off?
Lazy.
Amen. That's me too. All right. This is one of my favorites, but it's funny. The interview that I did a couple of days ago, she didn't have one because she doesn't like these. But what's your favorite curse word?
Fuck.
Yes. Honestly, if that's not everybody's, I'm just impressed because I don't, that's the most universally well used word ever. What sound or noise do you love?
My grandkids' laughter.
Oh, I'm sure.
Oh,
That's
oh my goodness.
what sound or noise do you hate?
The trash truck in the morning. Good grief. Why are they
Yeah,
so early?
I don't know, but they are never quiet. That is for sure. They are early and not quiet whatsoever. What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
Hmm. What profession other than my own would I like to attempt? Oh goodness. Shoot, I can be president. If Donald Trump can, shoot, I can too. Why
I
not?
would love you to be president. I'm okay with that. I will vote for you, no doubt about it.
Thank you.
What profession would you never want to do?
Never once. Mm, mm. Oh, you said quick fire. So even though I do teacher, I teach a
Oh,
lot, but nope, 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 nope. I had teacher or medical professional, which I
yeah.
ask medical questions all day, every day,
Right.
but I would not be able to deal with kids and bodily fluids. So,
No, I'm the bodily fluids person. I'm like, nope, that's not going to happen for me.
so I'm sorry, that was two answers.
No, that's okay. And lastly, my dear, if heaven exists, what would you like to hear God to say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
We have wine.
I love it. Amen. Well, that's got to be true. There's no way if that's one of the first miracles, there's no way that that's not accurate. So I'm
Absolutely. Here's the bar. Make yourself at home. It's an open bar.
It's
No
an
cash
open
bars
bar.
here.
Yes.
Yes, it's not
Yeah.
milk and honey. It is wine.
Yeah. I want to hear your money is not good
No
here.
good here.
You go.
Amen. Hallelujah. Thank you, Lord. I bless you. Mm.
And
Mhm.
David, this has been so amazing. I have enjoyed talking to you today. I want to send people to your website, get in contact with you. Like she said, if she is not licensed in your area, please touch base with her. She will find somebody for you to talk to in your area and have the conversations. Okay. It does not hurt to start the conversations. It doesn't matter where you're starting from, what age you are, or you gotta have them. And the thing is it's for you. It is for you. Don't think about it's
Mhm.
for some magical situation when you're no longer here. These things can benefit you during your life, and that's the most important thing. So thank you so much for meeting with me today and for being the most effervescent soul out there. And if you get a chance to find this woman on Facebook, you wait till you see these twins. I swear you're never gonna you're gonna be like, what is they are the cutest little girls I've ever seen.
I got to give them a shout out because
Yes,
they turned a
do
big one, the wild one,
the
in
wild
less than
one.
24 hours. So I'm
Ah,
super excited. It's my first year as a grandparent, and they are just
absolutely.
the most, oh, they have, I swear, if I could put them on a piece of bread and eat them up, I would.
That
They
is
are the
your
sweetest
joy.
things I have. They are so much joy to me. I love
Oh,
them. They are my new life's purpose. Every
yeah.
policy I write is to be able to sustain them and give
Mhm.
them everything their heart desire. So, understand that working with me only means that you are supporting the community. You are supporting my beautiful,
Absolutely.
beautiful, adorable grandchildren.
And
And
that's what it's about. No, you know what I mean? And us and that's what I want people to remember. When you look at small businesses, which yours is actually a big small business in the sense that you've created this thing, and it's gotten larger and larger, you are supporting somebody's dreams and hopes, and it is someone you know. It's not just some grand CEO somewhere. The CEO is sitting in front of you. The
mm,
CEO takes time out of their day to meet with you.
absolutely,
Yeah. So
absolutely.
I adore you to death, my dear, and I want to
Thank
thank
you.
you for
I
connecting.
so appreciate you for finding value in me and asking me to come on today. It does mean the world to me, and I'm so grateful to be able to serve you and your family. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I
Thank you so
appreciate being a
much.
part of your life.
Oh, it's a blessing for sure. And this has been another amazing episode of Authentically You. There are going to be links in the descriptions, and they'll also be on the screen. Please check everything out. And thank you for connecting, David. I appreciate you so much.
My pleasure. The pleasure is all mine. Blessings. Bye.
Go ahead. Mwah. That was it.
Okay, cool.